For more information on my programs, please visit masajady.com. That's MASSAJADY.com.
Kicking back, getting comfortable, settling in, and we are going to be talking about spiritual physics. Not just talking about it, but then generating frequencies so we understand it from a different perspective. It's a different way of teaching, and sometimes the way I teach or the way I divulge information is more of a 3D model, and most of ours are used to more of a linear model. So with that being said, you might feel confused on the way I might lay it out, but then it all makes sense. If not soon, rather soon. And then also, the way teaching works is that the information here is not it's not conditional to your filters. It's part of the spiritual laws. So the conditions always stay the same. You have to adjust your filters on the way you see the world to make sense of it. So with that in mind, this is spiritual physics and law, and as always, part one, the big picture, and then part two, deeper understanding, practical application, and then part three, summing it up. I'm just going to go ahead and read the copy. As a note, I don't really look at the questions. So this is the first time I've looked at the questions. And it's more accurate that way, because that way my own ideologies don't get into the mix. It just connects straight to that universal database. So so spiritual physics and laws. Just as the law of gravity keeps our feet on the ground, the laws of spiritual physics may very well dictate what transpires in this realm. Could it be that spiritual laws truly govern our human existence, our interpersonal relationships, and our ability to live a life of abundance? What are the spiritual laws and how were they created? Are they an unproven, unexplored scientific reality? So we're going to answer all that. One thing I'd like to note before we start, the last comment or the last sentence. What are the spiritual laws and how are they created? Are they an unproven, unexplored scientific reality? So unproven, maybe. Unexplored, maybe. And the reason why I say that unproven is like, if we were truly awake, it gets proven to us every single moment that we're in existence. A lot of times, though, we just don't have the capacity to understand it because we've got too many filters in front of us. And then most of society thinks that those spiritual laws do not exist. So they go ahead and create their own laws. And if you don't believe me, look at the way people run their lives. If you look at it from the outside, right? Say if you look at your friend's existence, life from the outside, you'd shake your head and go, "Gosh, my goodness, it's so common. It's so simple." Some of the stupid things that you hear on TV or anywhere else, when you hear those stories, people go, "Wow, how could anybody do that?" Right? So it's plain and simple to us from the outside. Why is it not for that person actually running those patterns? because they're not awakened. But yes, spiritual laws dominate every aspect of your life. Just like gravity, although you might not notice it, it's part of you. It dominates. It controls every aspect of your life, and you've learned to live with it. And before we get into the questions, think of it this way: spiritual physics. See, I'll give you an example, just to see if it makes sense. So in Minnesota, I live in Minnesota. It gets icy. Right, the roads get icy. So there's certain laws of physics, obviously, that apply to an icy road, your tire condition as well. Right. However, especially beginning of winter time, there's a lot of individuals who still think that they're driving in summer conditions. Well, they don't take note that the road is icy. And what happens? They end up in the ditch, or they spin around, or they get into accidents, and so on. So again, because they're not paying attention, and then sometimes, or a lot of times, it's like, yeah, I know it's icy, but I'm going to bypass, say, the physics of ice on the road, because I know how to drive on icy roads, or there's a way that I figured out that I can go faster than the conditions recommend, and obviously they end up in the ditch. So the same thing with life. If you look at any level of abundance that you want, if you look at any health level that you want, if you look at any relationships, those same spiritual physics laws apply. You can't get around it. You can't make your own rules. Right? Just like gravity, if you jump off a building that's high enough, you will get hurt or die. Same thing with spiritual physics. Let's jump into the questions. Is exponential intelligence synonymous to spiritual physics laws? Yes. Exponential intelligence is basically an understanding of spiritual physics. And these laws are timeless, and that's another thing too, with spiritual physics, and even reality physics, or this realm physics, right? Like gravity, electromagnetism, and so on like that. They can be kind of adjusted, or manipulated. Spiritual physics can't. It's always the same. No matter what condition, no matter who you are, no matter how wealthy, no matter how connected you think you are, no matter how much knowledge you have, it treats everybody exactly the same. You can't get around it in any form, fashion, time frame, whether culture, color, anything. Again, it's exactly the same for each and every one of us, and animals, plants, anything that's here is dictated by spiritual laws. Exponential intelligence is just my name for those spiritual laws. So it's an understanding or a study of spiritual laws.
For more information on my programs, please visit masajadi.com. That's MASSAJADY.com.